And then you talk to a guy like Dan Simon, who is a financial planner specializing in retirement income. We get a tip from Dan White and Associates every Wednesday after news at 1:30. And Dan, I mean, you plan for retirement. I've been working with Dan White for a long, long time. And this is the kind of thing you really cannot plan for, can you?
No, I think it's good to plan for unexpected expenses, but the increase in taxes for what I'm hearing, in your broadcast is it's flipping the plan upside down for a lot of people in your area, which it's troubling. It's troublesome.
I know. And by the way, Dan Simon works for Dan White and Associates. He's in the Middletown office. So in the Red Clay district where I am, it's extraordinary because not unlike Brandywine, we have a referendum that we're paying for as well. 90% or more of my taxes are due to the school taxes. Well, that's the problem. So beyond all the failures and the mismanagement, all that kind of stuff, when you work with somebody to plan on unexpected expenses, what kind of unexpected expenses are those usually? What kind of categories do you usually look at?
Well, typically it's a healthcare related expense that I see, and it's usually on the further end, which would be, some type of assisted living or long-term care. But, there's also scenarios I've seen where, people are getting ready to retire. They are retired and boom, they find out a child's getting divorced and they're moving back in and they're bringing grandkids with them. And all of a sudden expenses just went up, or, it's a car or a hot water heater that goes in the basement and it floods out when they're away for a week, and they come back to a $35,000 bill to fix everything. But the sudden increase in taxes, I've heard it from clients. I hear it, every time I tune into your show. And I haven't read it. I'll be honest with you, Rick, I haven't followed up too much on it because I live in Pennsylvania. We deal with an earned income tax in my county, so that's what it is. But what are residents supposed to be getting on the other end? Right, taxes are going up. What are they supposed to be getting in return? I'm just curious.
Good luck with that. I'll tell you what's happening. There's some folks I know in Hockessin. It started out with one family, and now it's a couple of them saying their taxes went up so much that they said, "Oh, we can go to Pennsylvania, better schools, and it's only $1,000." A year more now since the Newcastle County taxes went up, and they're looking to move from Delaware to Pennsylvania. So what are we supposed to get? I don't know. I mean, good luck. So I imagine you probably have a prepared tip for today, don't you?
I did. It's nothing like earth-shattering. It's more of a reflection from a question that I was asked last night at a dinner workshop that I did down in Lewis, where a gentleman raised his hand and said, don't our custodians force out our required minimum distribution when we're required to take them out? And I said, no, you'd think they would, but they don't. The onus is on yourself to take it out. So I just want to kind of walk through the steps for determining your RMD year and how that process really should work. But you want to talk about something else, that's completely fine.
No, go ahead. I don't think you have any solution for what's happening here. I really don't.
I don't. I mean, yeah. I can share some empathy with you, but I don't have a solution, that's for sure. I guess go out and vote, right? So when it comes to RMDs, and it's ironic because I was reading this article, and Mr. T, remember the actor Mr. T?
I pity the fool. I pity the fool.
Pity the fool who missed their RMD. His name is Lawrence Terode, and he turned 73 this year. That kind of made me feel old. But yeah, Mr. T is 73. So, calculating the RMD is important. First, you got to determine your distribution year. So if you were born prior to 1960, your RMD age now is going to be 73. 1960 or later, it's 75. But first we've got to start with distribution year, so calendar year in which you turn 73. You can defer until the following year, but then you'd have to actually take two, in next year, for example. But we got to find the IRA balance. So, taking a look at the statement of that particular account as of 12/31, the year prior. So we're using the value as of the end of last year. And then they're multiplying that by a life expectancy factor, which you can get on the uniform table of life expectancy on the IRS. But, first year RMD life expectancy is 26.5. So if you take, for example, a $100,000 IRA and divide that by 26.5, that's your RMD amount. So all you have to do is take it out and, like what you were talking about earlier, pay more taxes. But the money's got to come out of the account. It's got to be taxed, and then you can do whatever you want with it. But, certainly make sure you get it right. It's a 25% penalty if you miss the RMD. And that could add up. I mean, it may not be $100,000. It could be $1 million IRA.
Yeah.
And that's a big penalty on an RMD for an account that size. So, really just some basic stuff today. But, when I hear just, someone in the crowd, an ordinary Delawarean, asking questions that you think would seem, hey, they should do it for me. Well, they don't. And I explained to them that there's reasons why they don't, especially with IRA accounts, Rick. If you have multiple IRA accounts, for example, one at Charles Schwab, one at Vanguard, one at Fidelity, you can actually pick and choose where you take the RMD from. It's got to satisfy the total amount as of 12/31 the year prior of all three accounts, the aggregate value. But you can pick and choose where it comes from. There's flexibility there. And I think that's one of the reasons why the custodian themselves won't just force it out, because people can ultimately decide where.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. Yeah. Well, cool. See those dinners, why they can be educational.
That's the goal. Yeah, absolutely. But coming back to Mr. T, pity the fool who misses their RMD.
I hear you.
Again,
on Sunday mornings at 7 o'clock.
Nothing anybody wants to deal with.
By the way, if you want to talk to Danny, he's a great guy. He really knows his stuff. You can give him a call at 888-690-8820. 888-690-8820. Say, hey, I want to talk to that Dan Simon dude at Dan White and Associates. On Sunday mornings, 7 a.m. here on 1150 a.m., 101.7 FM, WDEL. You have Dan actually presenting On the Money live. Well, that's not live. Actually, he records it during the week. It's at 7 a.m. on Sundays.
This morning.
Huh?
Yeah. I think he records it Wednesday. Was it Tuesday, Wednesday?
I think it's Tuesday mornings, yeah. Usually stops by and says
but
hello.
I believe the topic of the show is retirement worries and their remedies. And there's also a giveaway, a white paper for the key ages of retirement. So that's a good one to grab there. So I would tune in.
Hey, man. I'm sure you will. All right, Dan. Good talking to you, buddy. Take care.
All right, Rick. Good luck resolving this tax crisis in Delaware.
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks so much. We'll get back to the politics of bad policy right now. So thanks again.